Guys, I think it's hilarious when people point out all the times I've been wrong and think that, like, it's going to make me want to quit, or it hurts my feelings, or, maybe I'll stop doing this, or I learned my lesson, all this other stuff. I realized a long time ago that I'm not always going to be right. I'm wrong sometimes. This is about being entertaining and having fun. It just so happens college football is the avenue that we take. So that's what this YouTube is all about. This YouTube channel, see, messed up, human. That's what this YouTube channel is all about. We are about talking college football, but it's, we're hanging out. We're having fun. Now, there is some serious things going on in college football that we're trying to make, I guess, what's it called? Educated guesses on. We don't know what's going to happen, but we try to lay out what makes sense. Well, this makes sense. Let's see if this happens. What about this? That also makes sense, and you just got to roll with it. And usually it's the one thing that maybe you didn't hit on, like USC and UCLA. I talked about, y'all know me, back since Oklahoma and Texas announced they were going to the SEC. I've talked about a lot of conference realignment, and part of it was some of the Pac-12 going to the Big X. And I said Oregon, USC, Oregon, Washington, Washington, USC, Washington, UCLA, USC, UCLA. So I touched on it, but I didn't focus on it because I don't know which exact one is. So I make videos on each avenue. I just don't know which avenue is going to, actually take place. So that was my point. It makes me laugh that people are like, all right, you were wrong about this. You were wrong about. I'm like, I actually expected to be wrong about that because I honestly don't know what's going to happen. So, it happens. Anyways, that's what's going on today. Whenever I made my, which one was it? Was it the first one or the second one? I think it was the first one. Whenever I said, I mentioned reasons why the Big 12 might be in trouble. I wasn't necessarily saying the Big 12 is doomed, throw in the towel, blah, blah, blah. I was just showing you the signs that could point to the Big 12 being in trouble, and there are some signs. Guys, if you haven't hit the like button, please do so. It's important to the video. That doesn't even necessarily mean that you like the video. It just helps the video hit the YouTube algorithm, and whenever that happens, the video gets suggested more people click on it, and that's how you grow your audience. So if you haven't, please hit the like button, and if you have, we greatly appreciate it. One more thing before we get really rolling. If you have a question for me or any of my guests, best way to get our attention is the super chat button, and that is that little dollar sign that you see on your bottom right hand corner. Anything you put in that super chat, I will put it on the screen. If it's a question, I'll read the question and we'll answer it to the best of our ability. If it's a comment, we'll read the comment and address it the best way we can. And hey, even if you want to make fun of us, that's okay too. We just appreciate you supporting the channel. So that's the best way to get our attention. On with the show. What's going on, guys?
Not much.
You know what's funny about this whole situation? Last year at this time, I was actually 100% convinced that West Virginia was going to the ACC because of who I knew and what they were telling me. And now, with all this stuff happening, I'm like, I don't think that's going to happen, but they haven't backed off of it. And now is when all the people that have been watching my videos start changing their mind. Mm-hmm. I'm like, so last year when it looked more likely you were against it. Now that, it's looking like there's still an avenue, but doesn't look likely. Now you're starting to believe that West Virginia is going to the ACC. Somebody explain that one to me.
No, I don't even see it at all. Because the way it is, the way they have that granted rights, you can come in, but you can't leave. And that's not a good thing for schools. Because if, for example, if the conference starts to go downhill, now you're like, I'm stuck here. I can't leave.
Right.
That's the reason why I think that's what stops the ACC from growing. It's going to keep it at the same size it is.
Makes sense.
Yeah,
But
once you said that, that's what caught me in that idea. I'm like, that's the reason why no one's coming in.
Right.
But what teams would be coming into the ACC? They're really not giving up much by giving up their grant of rights, because the Big Ten is not going to take them, or the SEC is not going to take them.
Right.
I mean, because
I just think the only way that the ACC is going to grab any teams is, and I know they are talking about renegotiating that TV deal. Nobody's going to come in unless it's a group of 5 team, because that would be a massive jump for any group of 5 team. But maybe the Pac-12, if you're one of the 6 teams that might get stuck with that 6.6% share. But anybody else is not going to do that because they're going to take a pay cut.
That's the reason why the ACC is so heavily relying on Notre Dame coming in.
Yeah, that's has to get figured out.
And Notre Dame, I think, is trolling them personally. That's my personal opinion. Because why would they put that in there just to make – because they probably agreed with it to make it so that they can play in the conference for other sports.
Right.
Just to make the ACC happy.
Why would Notre Dame Notre Dame go to the ACC for roughly $40 million a year when they can get $75 million a year as an independent?
Right.
Because the ACC would take Notre Dame and let them have their $75 million home contract with NBC to get them in.
Well, I think there's two parts of that. Number one, I think Notre Dame would give the ACC the leverage to renegotiate to where you're not looking at $30 million a year. Then teams are probably going to get at least $60 million a year. And then the second thing was what Jeff just talked about. I think the ACC would let them make whatever they want to make independent plus what they would make for the ACC. Because if you look at the 2020 season, the first and only year Notre Dame was a full member in football in any conference was the ACC. That's the most money that they have ever made in their entire existence. And that's with this crappy deal that the ACC has going on right now. I think that deal would get bumped up significantly.
Yeah, it would.
If Notre
it
Dame
would, but the difference is it still
member.
doesn't beat the Notre Dame's boosters at all. You can't beat Notre Dame's boosters.
I don't think
you won't have to.
I don't think teams like Florida State, Clemson, and especially Miami would go for Notre Dame getting a lot more money and being in the ACC playing football than they are.
Great surprise. Surprise. It's been a long day. Great supporter of Golden Blue Dude, David Cummings. Thank you for the $20 donation. Looks like he has tremendous faith that we're going to hit that 10,000 subscriber mark soon. Me too. Says early congrats on the 10,000. I have on the screen rolling 52 subscribers away, and I am actively keeping up with that.
I was forecasting it for you for reach the 10,000. You're saying? I was saying probably tomorrow morning.
Yeah, I think that's what Joey said too.
I was saying probably tomorrow morning.
Yeah,
Friday morning. Which that's what I said in the first video. Probably by Friday morning. You probably
and the crazy thing is our goal was to get there by the end of the year, and then not only did we have one boom, not only did we have one boom, but we had 2 booms, and even when we're not going through the boom, we're still going pretty good. Like right now, compared to before the booms that we've had, this would actually be a boom, but because of the other booms that we have, we can't classify this as a boom because compared to those, it's not. We're just doing really, really good right now. So I'm very thankful. So because of that, instead of hoping that we get to 10,000 by the end of the year, then we bump that goal up to, the kickoff of the Backyard Brawl. We're still like 2 weeks away, or 3. Is it 3 weeks?
Almost 2.5 weeks, I think.
2.5 weeks away.
Let me double check. I'll double check for you.
It's at least 2 weeks away, and it looks like we're going to hit it 2 weeks before that goal. So, blown away. What about you, Joey?
Yeah, almost 2.5 weeks away.
I'm really blown away. I mean, the growing of this channel it's just been tremendous, and we thank everybody for the great support that you're giving us to grow this channel, and we appreciate everybody showing up here every day for live shows. Appreciate everybody watching the videos. And stuff. Chris works really, really hard creating these videos, and it's tough making 2 videos a day plus doing a live show. And I keep telling him to slow down, and he's not. So, but we are 21 days, 1 hour, 13 minutes, and 55 seconds.
Right, exactly. And as you can see, I'm literally working as the live show goes on because I keep an eye on the subscriber count. So right now we are 50 subscribers away from 10,000. So we already have a live show planned for when we reach 10,000. I already have several guests saying that they're gonna, stop by. It's not gonna be like 30-minute slots. They're just gonna stop by for about 5-10 minutes. Hang out for a minute, say what's up, and it's just gonna be something like that. Stop and go. Because I know the guys that I've talked to, I know that their time is like really, really valuable to them. So I'm not trying to get them to stay for, an hour or two. Just try to get as many people to stop by real quick and hang out for a minute.
Yeah.
I got to thinking earlier when you were talking, you get a lot of crap every day about, well, you're not factual, you're not a reporter, and that you're here for entertainment. So what if we put an E behind your name like the WWF did? It's not wrestling no more. It's sports entertainment.
Right.
Don't get me started on that. That's my tradition right there. Don't start me with that. Idea. I hate that.
Not a bad idea. Yeah. Double R says, I have 50 aliases. I could put you over the 10K.
So what's he waiting on?
Yeah, let's go.
I'm literally keeping track.
I'm literally keeping track in real time. This is why I keep
that doesn't work.
Switching it.
I wish that did work, but unfortunately it doesn't. If you have 50 aliases and you subscribe, we'll hit 10,000, and then in the morning they'll take them back off. This is how it works.
That's what happened.
You can't really do. Yeah,
that's what happened whenever we hit the 1,000. If there's anybody that's got aliases or inactives, they'll boot it off. And a lot of people are like, "Oh, we buck under 1,000." Well, that's because they do. That's what they do.
Yeah,
it sucks, but it is what it is.
Milestone they check every time.
Right.
Yeah, Tiger Bass.
Hold on, we have a name that I'm not familiar with, so I want to make sure that I pronounce it right. How do we pronounce your name, sir? Is it Bizarre?
Yeah, it's just
Bizer. Oh, the one thing that I didn't say. That's how it always happens to me. I'll say 20 pronunciations, and it's the one pronunciation that I don't say.
You did my last name wrong for crying out loud.
I just so the reason why I wanted to call in is I watched your video on the 7 reasons why Notre Dame wouldn't join the Big Ten, and I thought that maybe I could offer some constructive criticism on that.
Absolutely.
So I think you mentioned 2 points. I think I can argue pretty well, and then 1 point I think is kind of out there. Okay. So I think you mentioned Notre Dame would lose its national brand status, but if you look at the Big Ten, it's becoming a national brand with the additions of UCLA, USC, and then they're also looking at the additional schools on the West Coast and maybe even the East Coast that stretches. So I think if Notre Dame joins the Big Ten, it already has that national infrastructure in place.
That's very correct.
Right. And I get your argument. I don't. If I came off as that's what I was saying, what I was trying to say is that's the mentality of Notre Dame fans. Personally, I don't think that they would lose the national brand. Number one, they're Notre Dame. I mean, it doesn't matter if they join the ACC, the Big Ten, the Pac-12. You're still Notre Dame. So in my opinion, they would have a national brand no matter what. And then you gave the reason of the Big Ten. They're basically coast to coast. So, I mean, rational people would say, yeah, you're still a national brand. But just from talking to Notre Dame fans, in their minds, in their heads, it's their opinion of their own team that if they join a conference, they become a regional brand. That's on them.
Exactly. My wife has said that plenty of times too, because I'm married to a Notre Dame fan, so I should know about that.
And I was going to say secondhand is you also mentioned the point about an easier path to the playoff in the ACC, but, with the expanded playoff, the game's not going to be the same anymore. It's like you can have 2 or 3 losses in a season. Maybe it'll be like the NFL playoff, and you might reach a point where it's just the SEC and Big Ten and everybody else is shut out, which leads into to my third point. So it's not going to be what it is now. Like a team like Notre Dame could afford to take a couple losses, maybe even 3 losses, and still get into a playoff. Like it's going to completely restructure the game,
That's why I think pushing it, but I would agree with 1 or 2 for sure, because I mean they're even talking about it right now where the SEC is trying to back down to what, 10 games, 8 conferences with two out of conferences. I think is what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
That sounds
And then
crazy.
and then to build off of that, and then if you think about all the money that's going to be flowing into Big Ten, SEC, it's to Notre Dame's favor to join sooner rather than later when it's in a weak position, right? Because when it's in a weak position, when the Big Ten and SEC are too big, they can bully Notre Dame around at that point. Right now, they really can't do that. Right now, they gotta get.
I agree with that. That is very much because once it gets to the SEC and Big Ten, I could see Notre Dame just going to the Big Ten for only one reason. They don't want to go to the SEC because they know they have a worse record against the SEC over the Big Ten.
But I'm telling y'all don't know how I've been on Notre Dame boards, fans coming on. They would literally rather sacrifice their team and go to the SEC than to even be labeled as a fellow member of Michigan. And I didn't even realize this until this week. I didn't realize it was that bad of a personal. It's not even like a sports hate. It's a personal hate that they have towards Michigan and their fans.
Yeah, but they're going to grow to hate the SEC at the same time, being the whipping boy for Alabama then. They don't want to be that either. No matter which way, they're going to be a whipping boy of somebody. Then.
But you have to separate what I'm trying to explain here. This is a personal vendetta.
I understand it's personal.
That Notre Dame fans have passed from one generation to they're literally brainwashed and taught. Yeah. You hate Michigan. You don't want to be associated with Michigan. You don't want to be called a fellow member of Michigan. Mm-hmm. We will always say no to the Big Ten until the very end, unless it's Big Ten and nobody else.
Yeah, in my case,
we used to play Notre Dame Michigan played Notre Dame every year for the longest time. If you remember, back in 2000, back in the 2000s, I'm a Michigan grad and I'm a Michigan fan, obviously, right? Back when I was in school there, we played Notre Dame every single year. It was a yearly thing, and then we suddenly stopped inexplicably. But it used to be there's a rivalry there. There's hatreds in the Big Ten. Look at Michigan and Ohio State. There's mutual hatreds there. To me, that just gins up more money. You know what I'm saying? I know that they hate each other, but hey, man, that just makes it all the more exciting.
Yep. That's what's Notre Dame's going to end up having to seize that money, because if they're going to get beat the living daylights out of Alabama every year if they join the SEC, they're not going to make money because they're not going to be able to beat Alabama. That's the number one problem. That's my point.
Well, they're not going to have to beat Alabama to make money. They're just going to make money flat out.
Yeah, but
the thing is, Notre Dame don't care about money.
Right. That's the point I was making in the video.
Yeah, my point is Notre Dame prides themselves with their pride. Being beaten so many times by Alabama would hurt their pride.
What you just mentioned is the reason why they won't join the Big Ten is because they're pride and they hate Michigan.
What I'm saying, that most likely they'll stay independent no matter what.
But what you don't realize is Notre Dame separates what happens on the field with what's happened in the past. They've taken the Michigan thing way too personal, and I think it's way too personal. I think it's silly, but it is what it is. Yeah. So they would rather get punked on the field than be called a fellow member of Michigan. Yeah, I can't make any rhyme or reason of it. Yeah, it is what it is.
But also, you have to think Alabama fans are just as cocky, so they're going to be trading one evil with the other.
What I'm trying to explain to you is this is from the past. This isn't from the now. This is from the past, and it's like an obsession that they can't get over. It's an obsession that they can't get past. Mm-hmm. They absolutely refuse to be affiliated with Michigan in any sort of way. I understand your arguments, and they're valid arguments. They really are. Definitely. I mean, Alabama has handed Notre Dame their rear ends many, many times. That's an argument. It's a real thing. I agree. But they're ingrained with this hatred that they've taken personal year after year for over a century. It's almost when you really look it up, it's almost insanity, to be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
But if you think about it like this, though, Alabama has the same hatred of Georgia Tech. And a lot of the young fans don't understand this, but when Georgia Tech in 1964 left the SEC, their coach and Bear Bryant got into it. Their university badmouthed Bear Bryant in national newspapers. And Alabama's never going to let Georgia Tech back in the SEC. It's kind of the same way Notre Dame doesn't want to bow down to Michigan.
Hey, Jeff, this is what we were talking about right here. David Cummings, this is exactly it. Awesome comment, David. I didn't want to get into this. I wanted people to Google it on their own. It looks like David did that, or he already knew it. Appreciate the $5 donation. And this clears it up right here. This is the reason why Notre Dame hates Michigan so much.
Mm-hmm.
Unless Fielding Yost, or how do you pronounce it? Is it Yost or Yost?
Yost.
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 Okay.
Yes.
Unless Fielding Yost
Yes.
rises from the grave and says he's sorry for canceling the series for 32 years
Whew.
because he lost in 1909, Notre Dame will not join the Big Ten. That's what they're mad at right there. That's what they took
see why.
personal. Michigan lost to Notre Dame in 1909, and I think it was their athletic director or president, one of the two, Fielding Yost, canceled the series for 32 years, and Notre Dame cannot forgive Michigan for that.
Yeah.
Actually, wasn't Yost their coach?
Well, it might have been a combination, but I know he had another title as well.
Coach. I think he was the coach at the time. Actually.
Hold up, I'll double check that.
Yeah, but wasn't he like the coach? And like back then, they had like two titles at the same time, right?
Yeah, he might have been the athletic director / coach because Bear Bryant was the athletic director for the longest time at Alabama.
Everybody needs to.
And this is
Need to
another thing
remember,
too.
too,
Look at
that-
this. Look at this. Yost blackballed Notre Dame for
Um,
decades. If anyone else in the Big Ten played Notre Dame, Yost threatened to blackball those teams as well. So it wasn't just Notre Dame. He threatened other teams. Hey, if
And
you play Notre
that's
Dame,
what I
we'll
was getting ready to
blackball
add
your
in.
rear end as well.
And that's where Illinois came in. Remember yesterday I was telling you about the Illinois factor? It was because Michigan was bullying Illinois not to play Notre Dame.
Right. Right.
Actually,
What
what do you think
Notre
will
Dame
get
was
Notre Dame
snubbed by the
into
Big
the
Ten.
conference?
Hold on. We have a Pitt fan in the room. All right, let's settle down for a minute. Let's settle down. The Panther Room, one of the premier Pitt YouTube channels. What's going on, buddy?
Not much, man. Thought I would stop in, and I always enjoy the channel. I'm always watching. I'm always in the chat. Even though I'm a Pitt fan, I can give respect to a great channel. I mean, you guys do a great job over here. You and Joey.
Yeah, he's my guy that keeps things going. Sometimes I get blown out from this. Like it takes a lot of energy, and he's like, "Man, you're doing good." And people don't realize that.
Dude, I found
you don't realize
I
you just
found
need a
that
little bit of
information.
motivation or a little bit of positivity, and that's what Joey does for me.
Yeah, I found that information out for the coach. You said it was 1900, right?
1909.
1909.
Yeah, that was Pat O'Day was the head coach, so Yost was the athletic director, most likely.
Well, and it goes deeper than that, you guys. I think it's Fritz Chrysler. He's the one. So they played again during World War II, and Chrysler. I don't know how to pronounce the name. I've read the article a million times.
Kitzler?
Either way,
he refused to play. He accused because Notre Dame took it to him.
Yep.
And he basically accused them of cheating, and then refused to play them. So they did play after the 1909, and but then they didn't play for almost like 50 years. That's why when people talk about the big Notre Dame and Michigan rivalry over the years, it went dormant for a long time. I mean, long time.
And it was because that person of authority took that butt whooping personally and said, nope, we're not playing them. And if you play them, we're going to blackball you as well.
Well, and it's the way Notre Dame didn't just beat
embarrassed them. Yeah.
They didn't just beat them. They embarrassed them. And that's where Michigan had the problem.
They had a big problem with that.
Mm-hmm.
It almost seemed like they, like you said earlier, they thought that Notre Dame cheated somehow because it was that convincing. And Michigan's like, there is no way that anybody can beat the great Michigan this badly without cheating.
Now, Tim, wasn't Notre Dame accused of cheating because one of the players actually had played in fought in World War II, and he was given an exemption. He was like 30 or 31 when he was playing.
That stuff went on all over the place
Yeah,
during World War II and right after World War II. And
right, but this guy waited a few years after.
But a lot of teams didn't even have a football team because most of their players were fighting in the war.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Well, it was the only time up until COVID, USC and Notre Dame played every single year except for because of travel restrictions during World War II. So there was weird stuff during World War II. But
And what,
Yeah, it was
it was
crazy.
Michigan that actually saw themselves as Notre Dame's big brother. If you look at the stadium, if you look at Notre Dame Stadium, the original Notre Dame Stadium was built basically as a replica of
big
Michigan
house.
Stadium. Yeah, the big house. It's like a little miniature of that. And when they got the upper hand and started beating them, that's when Michigan stopped it before.
Right.
And then they played again. They got whipped during World War II. And that's when Chrysler said he basically blackballed them because they were trying to join the Big Ten. This was whole Big Ten, Michigan and Notre Dame thing goes all the way back to World War II, because Chrysler in the 40s would basically got together with everybody and blackball them. Like I think Michigan State was okay with them joining, but it was Michigan said absolutely not, they can't join. So that's where that deep-seated hatred stems from, as well. Back 80 years.
Bad. It's bad. Let me get to Hillbilly Skeptic. Thank you for the $5 donation. Says the SEC, especially with the best of the ACC, will not and does not want Notre Dame. Sankey has already said they want cultural and geographical continuity.
I guess.
Continuity, yeah.
They take Notre Dame in a
continuity.
second.
Notre Dame is in. All they got to do is say, I want in, Notre Dame's in. The SEC will not turn them down.
That word every stinking time. David Cummings, thank you for the $5 donation. Says it was 11-3 in 1909, and Yost caught a case of the a double ass. The ass.
Now, wasn't it in 1942 that the Rose Bowl got moved?
Ass.
Didn't the Rose Bowl play in North Carolina in 42?
That's probably a possibility because of World War II. I know 1 year it moved. I can't remember. That sounds right, though.
I know it moved to North Carolina, and I think it was at Duke Stadium, actually. I think they went to Duke.
Well, I wasn't predicting that Notre Dame was going to join the SEC. That's not what I was saying. What I was saying is if the Big Ten and the SEC end up splitting off and they say, Notre Dame, you can't be part of our playoffs unless you're part of the conference. If Notre Dame does have a choice, they're so mad at the Big Ten and Michigan that they would choose the SEC. But
then there's the bigger question is if the SEC will accept them then. And if they say
no,
that's
then not what I was saying. Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
I'm
saying if it came to that point.
Yeah, if it's their choice, yeah.
The point of the video was trying to show people how mad Notre Dame is at the Big Ten and Michigan. So if it got to the point of the SEC and the Big Ten breaking off and they actually had a choice, they would choose the illogical choice of the SEC over the Big Ten because they hate the Big Ten so much.
And anybody that thinks that the SEC wouldn't take Notre Dame, the SEC, we don't like Ohio State. Ohio State says, I want to join, they're in. Michigan says they want to join, they're in. The SEC is
this whole geographic
down to Brown.
Geography is out the window, guys. That argument is done. I mean, seriously, like the one thing that happened that kind of knocked that off the table was the Big Ten grabbing USC and UCLA.
Yeah.
Like, okay, well, that's done. Regions are done. It doesn't matter. Whoever wants to go coast to coast, that's the direction we're going. Although I am hearing from SEC fans that they don't want to go north. They would rather spread more west than north. What?
I can answer that. I can answer that really easily.
Is really the weather the biggest argument for that?
Yes, and that's the other problem you're going to have with the 12-team playoff. Alabama is not going to finish 9th and travel up north in the cold in December. I mean, the SEC is not going to agree to a home game.
That's not a good argument. I mean, okay, here's the thing. So these super leagues want to compare themselves to the NFL. Guess what happens in the NFL? Southern teams have to play in the cold, bitter weather, and northern teams have to play in the brutal heat. So you can't pick and choose. Well, we want to be like the NFL in this way, but not this way.
Yeah, but the big difference is their powerhouse schools will not be so powerful then. They rather look intimidating.
Well, I understand that, but I'm saying like they want to compare themselves to the NFL. That's what the NFL does.
Their image.
No matter who you are, you're going to play in the bitter cold if you're scheduled to do so.
This is based on the conference's thought process. They want to look as strong as possible, but If you throw any SEC team in the like November, December weather up in the north, like Michigan, Pennsylvania, Ohio.
Hold on. Hillbilly Skeptic, thank you for the $5 donation. He says, you're saying Sankey didn't say what he said. Nope, that is not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is Notre Dame isn't a choice for the SEC right now. But if Notre Dame all of a sudden became interested in the SEC would take them because it would bump up your revenue, and that's what it's all about, making money. Notre Dame would increase your TV value even more. The SEC would take Notre Dame. I am not calling Sankey a liar. I am not calling you a liar. I'm not saying that Sankey didn't say what he said. All I'm saying is right now, all that's hearsay because in this moment in time, there is no chance the SEC will ever get Notre Dame. What I'm saying is if that chance came and Notre Dame's like, hey, SEC, we don't want the Big Ten. If we have to join a conference to get to the playoffs, we want to join you. The SEC would be like, come on in. Let me finish the super chat, though. I kind of stopped at the first part. Southern fans don't want assaulted by Antifa on
Antifa.
Is it Antifa or Antifa?
Antifa. It's anti-fascist.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a group. That's mostly in Oregon.
What does that have to do with Notre Dame?
Yeah, I know. It doesn't make sense.
Now I'm super lost. Hold on. Thank you, Packer 910, for the $4.99 donation. Says if the ACC expands and gets their money within 10 to 15 million of the SEC and Big Ten, why would any ACC team want a harder road to the playoff? And I have been. That's a great super chat.
There's only one problem.
I've actually been saying that.
I agree with that. Yes.
There's only one problem with that.
Exactly.
Who is the ACC adding to get them within 10 to 15 million?
But that's not the argument. That's not the argument. I agree with you, Jeff. I don't think they can. But if they could, none of the teams would leave.
Oh, no.
What we're forgetting. Hey, here's the thing. What we're forgetting is these brands under this current TV deal are actually being undervalued. Forget about who you add. If you scrap this TV deal and look at the brands that the ACC have, they're actually more valuable than what you see in this TV contract. I think with the brands that the ACC currently has, without adding anybody else, they could get in. They could get at least within 20 million, maybe within that 10 to 15 million.
Yeah.
Can I ask you a question?
Go ahead.
Here's my question. When was the ACC contract signed? 5 years ago?
Is it? Well, how long of a contract was it?
That I don't know. I thought it was because it ends in 2036. So I don't know when it.
It had to have been at least a 15-year contract. No, 10-year contract. So it must have been 26. No, it might have been a 20-year contract. I'm going to have to look
that would sound about right.
Okay,
15.
So my question is, we got to know when it was signed.
2017, maybe 2017, 2018.
Well, hold on. If it's 15, that would have been last year. So I don't think that's right. If it was 20 years, it would have been 2016.
I'm betting it's at least 20. But my argument.
That's crazy when you think about it.
If it was in 2016, Florida State had a brand. They were winning. They had just won it. Where are they today? Now Miami hadn't done much, and they're coming up. And I'll give you that. And I do think that the teams would get more money, but there's no way they're getting.
Hold on, Jeff. There's one thing that you have to rule out, and that's success on the field. We're looking at brand value. If they're doing really good on the field, that's a bonus. Like Miami hasn't been doing all that great, but I think they're worth more than what they look like on the field. Florida State is most definitely worth more than what we see on the field. The only team that would have that argument would be Clemson, because I don't think Clemson was worth as much as they are now before they, dominated the ACC. That's the only team that I think bumped that argument.
Will move way up. I agree with that. But my thing is, I don't think you're going to see their contract go from 33 million is what they got last year, 32.6, I think it was, to 80.
I wouldn't say 80, but I would say at least 65, 70.
Okay, but if you go to 70, then you're going to be 20 to 30 below the Big Ten. The Big Ten's going to be 100. SEC is going to be 95.
Way I see it with the ACC, way ESPN, if they stick with ESPN, they're going to keep lowballing them. That's just being truthful.
I don't think so. I don't think
it depends on what the plan is.
I don't think the ESPN wants Fox or anybody else.
Yeah, but they're going to just try cheap changing them. Probably Fox would do the same thing.
You guys, are we talking about 2036 right now?
Yeah, because of the ACC contract.
Right. So if you're talking 2036, we have no idea what college football's going to even look like at that point. I think
we don't know how ESPN's going to look like. It could be way worse for you. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They might not even be able to offer anything.
We don't have a clear concept of what 2026 is going to look like.
I would agree, J-Dub. Hey, let me get to this super chat real quick, guys. Double R. I'm just going to call you Double R. I know it's RR, but I like double. Vote of hands. Double R. All in favor? Double R. Let's go. All right.
Vote pass.
Double R. Double R. Thank you for the $5 donation. Says Golden Blue Dude, you have Notre Dame at 16 this year. Where do you have them if they upset Ohio State in game 1? Top 10, definitely. Maybe top 5. The highest. If they beat Ohio State, I might put them at number 5.
I would say
they would have to move up to the top 5 if they beat Ohio State.
Me and you are not too far apart. You're saying 5. I say 4.
So I'm going to begin here just a second, guys. GBD, I sent you a text message there if you can get that. So yesterday, Jeff donated a wood sketch from Tri-State Wood Sketch to give away. So I'd like to do that real quick. We have 128 people in the chat, and I've got a number here, and I sent it to GBD so he can help me watch for this number to come up. Everybody pick a number between 1 and 100. Well, there's 130 in here. Between 1 and 130. Everybody pick a number in the chat, type it in. First one to get it's going to win this picture.
Do you have can you show it?
It's going to be what comes up on StreamYard.
Do you have the
It's
picture?
going to come up on what comes up on StreamYard. No, because I got to create it whenever they send me it. Saturday they want to create it.
Okay, I got you.
So I'm looking. We're looking on StreamYard now, guys. We're going to be watching StreamYard. So whatever comes up on StreamYard first is going to win it. Whoever wins it gets it on StreamYard.
I haven't seen
a number between 1 and 130.
Yeah, I'm keeping my eyes out with you. And you can guess more than once. Whoever hits it first is going to get it. FSU 45, a great supporter.
I already got my number, so I'm done with one guess.
Nobody has it yet. FSU 45, a great supporter of Golden Blue Dude. Appreciate the $20 donation. Says, good evening, Golden Blue Dude and everyone. To the person who said that Alabama fans, hold on, let me make sure. Nope, nobody's still got it. Okay. Who said the Alabama fans are arrogant? No, we are confident, sir. There's a big difference. I agree with that.
Yeah, you can't offend me at all anyways.
Roll Tide and go Mountaineers. I actually didn't know that he was a Alabama fan as well.
Yeah, in my case, when I hear Roll
crazy.
Tide,
this has been going on for a while. We got so many people in the chat, and
the
still nobody has guessed.
FSU fan.
Nobody has guessed the.
Nobody has guessed it yet.
No.
Yeah, the funny
That's
thing is,
because the last time you did this, they guessed it within
still not
30 seconds.
Yeah.
Can I do a prediction?
By the way.
Can I do a prediction real quick? When Notre Dame.
Okay, hold on. Stop for a second. David Cummings, you got it. David Cummings.
Hold on. Let me make sure there was nobody before
where did
him.
it go? Let me find it.
Yep, it was David.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'll put that up there. Right there it is. Number 74. So David, send me an email at joey@goldenbluedude.com.
74.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
I just wanted to show the text message so people knew that you didn't.
Yeah, send him the number.
You know, we're not picking favorites.
Send me a email. No. So 74. David, send me an email at joey@goldenbluedude.com. And I'll tell you what I need from you. And you want a free picture? It's donated by Jeff Grimm. Thank you, Jeff, for donating that yesterday. And I'm going to get out of here because we got people that are wanting to come in, I'm sure. So I'll let some other people come in. But don't forget our drawing. Anybody at Super Chats, you're going to win. You get a chance this month. Anybody at Super Chats this month, will have a
Hold on,
chance to
Joey.
win
Hold on.
a trail cam donated by Traveling Pools. Trail cam
Joey,
donated
hold on,
by
buddy.
Traveling
Hold
Pools
on.
with a value of about $120. He's going to show you a picture.
Hold on. Where is it? Here we go. All right. So first, the trail cam. Now this one's for the super chat, right? Joey.
Yeah, that's for super chat. You'll win a trail cam at the end of the month. And then second drawing number 2, also donated by Traveling Pools, will be for a set of night vision binoculars. That's for anybody that makes a purchase in our store. Just go to goldenbluedew.com. You can access everything goldenbluedew.com, our podcast, our writers, anything, our merchandise store through goldenbluedew.com. Kurt Myers just told me he never.
What? Your volume went out, Joey.
Yeah, you lost sound.
Can't hear you, Joey. Sorry, buddy. But yeah, congratulations to David Cummings. I mean, that one took a while. The first time we did something like that, they guessed it within like 5 seconds. So yeah, good job.
Yeah. That was kind of funny when with the term the one guy said
Hold on,
with roll tide.
me-
That was funny.
Hold on, let me double check something.
That put a smile on my face.
You have David Cummings highlighted. I'm going to go above David Cummings and just double check because somebody said that they may have saw somebody. I'm not seeing it though. Eric Steele got close with 75. Let's see. Chris Rivera was 77. There was a lot of close guesses, but I did not see 74 until. I just want to double check because I don't want to leave anybody out.
I went back through and 78 was the next closest one.
Yeah,
J.K.
William
Marshall.
Stinson got 77. David Cummings actually had a 78 before, so he got close before, but not quite. Yeah, there was a lot of close ones, but I did not see a 74 before that. I saw a 44. But yeah, I just double checked through the chat.
Yeah,
we're good. All right, congratulations, David Cummings. Good job, and you're a great supporter of Golden Blue Dude. So
yeah, I like that comment about the roll tide and everything. I'm like, that doesn't offend me. Saying that when I say that Alabama is a little arrogant. My high school team.
I mean, they are, but they have a good reason to be arrogant. Like,
oh yeah, definitely.
If I say Alabama's arrogant, like that's not me trash talking them. I'm like, if my team had won as many national championships as Alabama did, I'd probably be a little arrogant. I mean, that's just
exactly
it's human nature.
Yeah, when he screamed roll tide, it didn't bother me because my high school football team was the Crimson Tide, so it doesn't faze me. It makes me laugh because it puts a smile on my face.
Within 5 years, when Saban retires, 3 million Bama fans are going to jump off their bandwagon.
Yeah,
because
agreed.
A lot of people, especially this new generation, don't realize the the stretch that Alabama had went through as far as not winning a national. What was the last time that Alabama won a national championship before Nick Saban? 92. 92? Yeah, that's what I thought. And
then before
it was weird because they weren't a
79.
powerhouse either. They just happened to be really, really good in 92 and won the SEC championship over Florida, I believe. Wasn't it Florida that they beat?
They beat Florida in the very first SEC championship.
Right, and that's what basically got them into the national championship. I remember that game because that was the year before West Virginia had their undefeated season in 93. So West Virginia ended up playing the second ever SEC champion in Florida, and they handed our rear ends to us because our heads were not in that game. We were still mad that we were not selected to go to the national championship. Sergeant Pickles 13, thank you for the $1.99 donation. Says, arrogance is when confidence doesn't deliver. I never heard that before.
That's a good one too.
That's not bad. That's not bad,
but still.
That's not bad right there. I've met several people that had a little bit of arrogance, and here's the thing. Okay, so going back about what I said, maybe it is confidence for Alabama fans because when you think about it, usually an arrogant person really doesn't have anything to be arrogant about. A confident person has, whatever they have that makes them confident. But an arrogant person almost has to put other people down to make themselves feel better. So I'm actually going to go back on my statement. I don't think Alabama fans are arrogant because they actually have the national championships to back up that confidence.
Yeah, the big
I'll say
difference
that Alabama fans are confident, and then other teams that feel like they should be in Alabama but can't quite perform right now, I would say Miami would probably fit in that category.
Florida State would be
last year. No offense to him, but last year maybe some USC fans, not the entire fan base because y'all were just straight up mad, but there were a few out there that were like that. Oh, remember the Pete Carroll? Yeah, but that was like, almost 20 years ago. So certain teams that feel like that they should be at the level of Alabama, but they're not. So they have to knock people down to make themselves feel better. I think that's more of a definition.
But with Alabama also, you have to see when they lose a national championship. That's when you see the real Bama fans that are going to do it gracefully over the ones that they become sore, like the butthurt ones. Then you can tell which ones are the arrogant ones and the ones that are just confident between them, because there are a mixture of both in Alabama football.
But the problem, most of the arrogant ones, I consider them more bandwagon.
Exactly.
Or at least they're not old like me. I mean, I remember
makes you feel better,
when Bear left and we were terrible. I remember when Stallings left and we were terrible.
Who was the coach after Stallings? Are they so bad that even Alabama fans can't remember?
Well, we had a guy named Mark Price who couldn't keep his pants up and didn't coach one game.
You had that big carousel for a while. I know that.
We had Franchione, who coached 1 year and then left us to go to Texas A&M.
What was y'all's record immediately after the national championship?
Oh, right now. No, Stallings was there from 91 to 96 or 97 was his last year.
Florida State is definitely not in the arrogant pool. Whoever said Florida State's one of the most arrogant teams, I swear.
No, I'm a Florida State fan, and I'm a straight shooter on that. Florida State, they've had crappy teams in their history.
And nobody's bragging about it. Exactly. If there's any teams that are talking about being arrogant and want to believe they deserve to be where Alabama is Texas, USC, Michigan, some of the big Notre Dame. Florida State is not one of them.
No.
Michigan, some of the big.
I don't think Florida State is on the level of those.
Michigan.
But I would still have to kind of put them in that. Not the entire fan.
Hello, gentlemen.
Somebody's got a bad echo.
Feedback.
Yeah. Mr. Jacob, turn the show down because we're getting a echo up here. Turn the show down. Yeah. Still hear the echo.
The fan base that always drives me crazy is Michigan, because you hear constantly about winning this program, most all-time wins.
I think we're good.
And they've got and Michigan has a grand total of 2 national championships in the AP era. So all those wins haven't really amounted to anything. They haven't amounted to any. They haven't amounted to any glory.
Michigan could have had 5 or 6 more, but Tim's USC teams keep beating them up in the Rose Bowl.
What about this question right here? I think this is interesting. Thank you, Derek Harmon, for the $4.99 donation.
I read it too. Well,
where do you think West Virginia would be if they would have paid the money for Saban? Well, here's the thing that most people don't realize about Nick Saban. I mean, he loves the state of West Virginia, but at the same time, and I can directly relate to this, West Virginia is a poverty-stricken state. So he made a vow, just like many West Virginians do, that if he had a chance to leave the state, he was going to do so and never return. I don't think West Virginia could have paid him enough money to come back because he was glad to be out of the state. And that's no disrespect to the state of West Virginia. Same with me. I live in the upstate of South Carolina. I go back and visit family. I go back for games. I love going back to West Virginia. I just can't live in West Virginia because of the economy situation. Let me check and see if the echo is better.
Yeah.
Echo?
In West Virginia.
Okay, that echo is still there. Does that make sense, guys?
Oh yeah, definitely makes sense. I would say he wouldn't go any further than South Carolina. I think if any schools were interested, anything below South Carolina down, he probably would have. But
Saban specifically chose Tuscaloosa. He was looking for a specific set of circumstances, a specific position, a place where he was going to not only be given the money, but given the autonomy to come in and more or less shove the boosters aside. Because that's what he did. Saban came in and pushed the boosters out of the way and said, you don't get to interfere in the program anymore. I'm here now. Daddy's in charge. And he had to find an AD that was going to let him do that. Mal Moore was the man that let him do that. And Saban knew that there's only a couple of places that you can go to, and if you can get that system installed, you can win there.
Guys, think about this. I think Jeff is onto something because if you think about it, Saban was super successful at LSU and he was super successful at Alabama, but he flopped in the NFL. And a lot of people were like, why did his great coaching not translate to the NFL? I think it's exactly because of what JW just said.
Yeah, didn't have the right personnel above him.
Not translate.
Yeah, he didn't have control. And the reason he wouldn't have went to West Virginia also is West Virginia didn't have the money to build the facilities.
You got to echo, Mr. Jacob. But I always ask that question, what if for Nick Saban, and why did the and a lot of coaches do translate well from college to professional. I mean, look at Pete Carroll. Yes, Pete Carroll, Jimmy Johnson from Miami to Dallas.
Yep.
And there have been some good coaches that were great in college that it translated over to the NFL. So it really,
Pete Carroll, there's a little bit
really
difference.
threw people for a loop whenever Nick Saban did it, and it didn't work. But because of what J-Dub just said, it kind of makes sense now.
Correction with Pete Carroll, this is his second time in the NFL. Remember, he was there first before going to USC.
Yeah.
Well, remember this also. The first time he had literally zero control.
Exactly.
And when he went back, he said, "I'll come back, but I'm gonna do it my way." And he got them to two Super Bowls. One of them was within a yard of winning a second one for them.
Dude, don't even bring that up, man. I was watching that Super Bowl, and the play, whenever I saw him drop back for a pass, I'm like, this is the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my life. Why would he do that? I mean, don't even get me started on that. That was
don't get me started.
The dumbest play call that I've ever seen in my entire freaking life.
Yeah, in my case, I would have called run the fucking rock.
Yeah, well, because of down and time, they had an opportunity. I've heard the whole thing, and I thought the same thing when I first watched it. But because of time and downs, they had a play to burn with a throw.
They had timeout.
They had a timeout, but they had 3 downs.
Right, so run it again.
Okay, so they could throw it one time.
Mode. You hand it to him and let him do his job.
Yeah, well, if the quarterback doesn't throw it behind him, it's a touchdown, and no one's talking right now. If the guy's being covered, you got that safety jumps the route, you throw it at his feet. He threw it the one place that dude could pick it off. So we can blame the play call, we can blame
what yard line were they on?
The 2.
2 or 1.
Yeah, it was
were they on the 5?
The 1.5.
Were they on the 9? Were they on the 12?
It was 1.5.
They were on the 1.5.
Run the ball. Simple.
Yeah, it's pound the ball, pound it down the throat of the defense. That's all I want.
And maybe Marshawn doesn't get it on that one.
On the first one, but he'll get on the second.
I think they would be able. I think they had enough time to where they could at least line up to either ground it or try to run it one more time.
You got 3 plays.
Bad play call. If you're going to call a passing play right there, if you don't have somebody super open, I mean nobody within 5 yards, throw the ball away.
Throw it at his feet. And he didn't. He threw the one place that would get picked off. So I don't think the play call was stupid. They had 3 plays and 1 timeout. One of those plays was going to be a throw. Why not throw it on right? Why not throw it when no one's looking for the throw? I think it was the right call. The execution was shit.
Yeah, the quarterback.
This is one of the examples of the 4 or 5 Super Bowls that Tom Brady has rings for that he did not win. He should have never gotten to the Super Bowl with the bullshit tuck rule. Oakland had him beat. the NFL screwed opened out of that.
And guess
out of
what?
that
He
win.
has those rings
hold on,
to
guys.
deal
Hold
with
on,
it.
hold on.
Hang
So
on.
I looked this up on. Hold on, I looked this up on purpose or specifically. So we were talking about what play, what down, how many timeouts, and how many seconds. So whenever Russell Wilson drops back, there was 24 seconds left. This is second and goal, right? They do have one timeout, 24 seconds. I would say that if you ran the ball here with with 24 seconds, and this is whenever he's dropped back. I have a still shot of this. This is still shot. Okay. 24 seconds drop back. So that's even after the ball is hiked. So you add on a couple more seconds, you're looking at 26 seconds. That timeout, this proves that this was a terrible play call because you still have one timeout. If you run the ball and you don't get there and you call a timeout, you still have probably 20 seconds left to run two plays. Can you not run two plays in 20 seconds? Come on. I
mean, if it had worked, we'd be talking about how this is one of the greatest play calls ever.
But you're going to throw on third down either way. I mean, if you don't make it on second on a run, you're going to call your timeout. You're going to burn your timeout. Now you can't run the ball because you're not going to get your kicking team on.
Kicking was no option. Let me
jump in really fast. This is my last point on this. If you're going to throw the ball, you throw it when they're not looking.
Right.
They were looking run all the way.
Yep.
The safety made a great play. Wilson had a great season, made a bad throw, and that's the end of it. If this was college, we're talking differently. But he's a professional quarterback. He needs to know that if I guarantee they probably even told him, if it's not there, throw it at his feet. Yeah. But he tried to make the hero pass, squeeze it in. The rest is history.
And I'm not trying to trash talk Russell Wilson either. He's obviously been a good quarterback. It's just one of the worst plays he's ever made in his career. And it'll probably go down in history as the worst play that he's ever done.
Mhm.
Zangief Productions dash Zangief1, thank you for the $2 donation, says, arrogant Bama fans, our best receivers were hurt. I do keep hearing that as far as why they lost the national championship. Sergeant Pickles 13, thank you for the $1.99 donation. I refuse to acknowledge this play happened. LOL. I'm sorry we had to bring it up, but why did it? I forget. Why did that get brought up? Oh, because we were talking about coaches that went from college to NFL and bad play calls and all that stuff. It just happened. Sorry, bud. But I will never, ever forget that play because I wanted Seattle to win that game. I loved it when Seattle beat Denver. I had a bet on that game. And I was just like, I was mad. I'm not a Seattle fan, okay? Let me be clear. My NFL team is Cincinnati, but in this particular game, I liked Seattle. I liked them, from the year before when they beat Denver. And so I was furious, and I just couldn't figure out how stupid of a play call that was. I mean, maybe it's not a bad idea to call a passing play on second down. That's a argument in and of itself. But the play that was called, the passing play that was called, and the execution of it was it was a nightmare. It was a nightmare.
I don't know. Gold and blue is a slant at the goal line, which should be money. If the receiver has position, right, it should be easy money.
Yeah, it's one of the hardest routes to cover in football.
Wasn't it even a pick play, Tim?
I think there was
I thought there was a guy inside. I thought it was even a pick, which is a play that's called all the time. And actually, that pick play is what Clemson beat Alabama on for the.
Yeah, I mean, when it first happened, I was
except it was the inside pick play, not an outside pick play. That's
right. Anyway, I don't think it was a wrong call. I think it was poor execution, really. I mean, we could look at it because it was picked off. If he scores a touchdown, everyone's calling it a great call.
And what happens?
I think the biggest argument that I had whenever it happened was you have Marshawn Lynch. I mean, the dude. I mean, he was money from that distance. As far as that's what really got me. Like if you had a running back that was unsure or wasn't that reliable, yeah, I could understand. But you had Marshawn freaking Lynch. Come on.
Well, they're thinking they got a touchdown, or they're looking at a third down and goal from the same spot. Then you run Marshawn right there, right? You have a timeout, and then on fourth down, you either throw or pass it. So I mean, I think that the strategy was solid. I just think the execution was really poor.
No, I think it's I think it should have been the opposite. Like if you run it with Marshawn again and run him again 2 times in a row, and then if you have to, you throw it on 4th. I mean, if you can't get it into the end zone from the 1.5 yard line with 2 shots, then you have no business being in the Super Bowl. I think that's what I was that's what I was mad at the most. You would have had 2 solid chances of running Marshawn Lynch up the middle at the 1.5. I mean, he's going to score. Come on.
He might score. Nothing's a given. All right. Well,
if it was one play, I would agree.
You were talking about this game for like 20 minutes. I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
Move on.
Well,
sounded
I mean,
more and more like a Seahawks fan there, dude. I'm just kidding.
No, that's just one play that really I'll never understand till the day I'm no longer on this earth. I will never understand that play. Speaking of which, is there a particular play for your team, whether it's Robert, Jeff, Tim, True, J-Dub, that you will never forget for the wrong reason?
Yeah, 4th and 1 in the Rose Bowl against Texas.
That's not take the obvious. No.
I can't say kick return. 6. I can't say kick 6.
No, because I remember that one as well.
Okay, what about punt, Bama punt?
Yes, that one's fair. That one's fair.
Yeah.
Is there a second 110 that's maybe not obvious? I mean, because that was a national championship. Everybody. Anybody that had money on that game.
I'm trying to think of one play. I'm just trying to think of one play that.
I got you.
Well, I mean, you can go to that last game where they had that zone blitz on. They had their safety get sucked in, and Vince Young walk into the end zone. I mean, that's
true.
A high risk play on that one too. 4th and 5.
I think if I can't say the video definition of offensive pass interference in the 2016 Natty, and you won't let me say the direct intervention of Satan on the Plains in 2013, then to me the play that drives me crazy is not punt Bama punt, which I do remember. It's the little flip pass to the tight end in the 2010 Iron Bowl that capped the Auburn comeback. Lutzenkirchen or whatever the hell his name was, in the front corner of the end zone that capped off the Scam Newton comeback and thus made him my most hated player of all time.
I think Cam Newton is hated by a lot of people, even non-Alabama fans.
Florida fans hate him.
Yeah, there you go. Thank you, Jersey Love 3, for the $5 donation. Also, Browner, who was literally a Seahawk, did an excellent thing by jamming the receiver so the corner could jump the route. Yeah, I still have this on still for that, and this is the last time I'm going to talk about this, but that's a great point. The receiver jammed the corner, but then the receiver got jammed and the corner was able to jump the route. That's excellent analysis. I wouldn't have known that off the top of my head, but from this still, you're right on it. What about Florida State?
My most heartbreaking memory had to be when Georgia Tech returned the field goal for the touchdown.
Oh, yes. And I will allow that, by the way. I will, because it wasn't a national championship or ACC championship, but it was memorable. I thought maybe you would say wide right 1, wide right.
Wide left, wide right.
Wide right 5, wide left 7.
Yeah, I wasn't alive for those times, but if I had been, I'm probably sure.
So
probably sure would have been.
Rewatching a play like that probably doesn't have the same result as seeing it live. I got you. I understand. But the Georgia Tech one, the thing
that actually built my hatred for Georgia Tech.
The thing that got me about that game was the announcer at the end. You can't believe what you just saw. Like the way he executed. I'm like, dude, you should not be announcing, man. That was horrible. Like usually whenever an exciting play happens and the announcers get excited, it gets me excited. But whenever that announcer, I forget who it was it Gumble? No. It was I
don't remember.
Anyways, it made me laugh at him because it was ridiculous. So that was not a good call by
I think my favorite announcer for a Miracle would probably be the Kick Six. That dude, he cracks up every time.
That was good. That was good.
Yeah, he was perfect. Spectacular.
That's the
yeah. All right. Well, let's see if we got any more updates. All right, guys. I gotta get off here. We got some things we gotta do over here at the house, but tomorrow's gonna be Friday, so I'll be able to we'll be able to have an extended show because we have the 8 o'clock show over on the West Virginia channel, and I can just jump off of the West Virginia and keep the live show on this channel going. So we'll do a long one tomorrow. But I don't know about y'all. I feel like this was a pretty good one. What do you think?
Yeah, we're in at just the right time. Go flip your TVs on to Fox. Cubs and the Reds are about to play at Dyersville in the Field of Dream game.
You know what? I'm a Reds fan, but I know we suck right now, so I don't know if I want to watch that. So, let me get to Jersey Love 3. Thank you for the $2 donation. It says mine is when Dennis Dixon tore his ACL. Oh, that's actually pretty good.
Ooh.
Yeah, he was going to win the Heisman, and I think that they could easily been a huge contender for the national championship. The Ducks wouldn't have this many championships if Dixon had stayed healthy. That's for sure.
Yeah,
Dixon was special. That guy was awesome.
That one. I mean, I think all of our reactions kind of reflected. We're not fans of that team, but we can just from seeing it and knowing what could have been. We feel your pain for sure. We feel your pain. All right, as usual, before we get out of here, well, first let me remind everybody before y'all get out of here, make sure to hit the like button, even though this won't be live anymore. Likes still help. So please do so. And if you've come across this live show and you're like, I don't know what this is, hit the subscribe button if you're a college football fan, because that's what we do. And it's videos every single day. I don't miss a day unless I'm really, really, really sick. And it's been a while. So hopefully that doesn't happen anytime soon. So if you're a college football fan, please hit the subscribe button because we are 42 subscribers away from 10,000. So we are 42 people away from clicking subscribe from being 10,000. And we are planning a live show to celebrate on Sunday. I'm pretty confident we're going to be there by Sunday. What about y'all? Are y'all confident about it?
Yeah, definitely. I'd say
you'll be there tomorrow.
Tomorrow morning.
All right, let's go. Confidence.
I'd say tomorrow morning.
But we can't do it without people like you hitting the subscribe button. So we would greatly appreciate that. All right, guys. Y'all know what to do. On the way out, the last word from everybody. We're going to go reverse tonight. Jacob, last word, buddy. Sorry, Robert. Why did I say Jacob?
Yeah,
I was used to muting Mr. Jacob. My bad, Robert.
My bad. All right. Yeah, I'm like, who is he talking to?
Can y'all not tell? It's been one of those nights. I have been struggling reading for whatever reason. I missed like 5 words tonight.
Yeah. In my case, the worst moment
Jeez.
wouldn't be in college. It would be RG3's leg snapping in the playoffs for the Redskins. That was nasty.
That was gnarly.
Yeah, I was like, that was a nasty moment, but I was like, thank God we had another quarterback.
True. I got you. Well, well said, buddy. Well said. Jeff, Mr. Taco Grimm, last word, buddy.
It's probably the play that I'll always remember the most, and it's a good play, is the goal line stand. When we stopped Penn State on the 1-yard line, we stopped them on 3rd down. They did.
That was the 92, wasn't it? The 92? That was the 92 net?
79.
Who did y'all play in 92?
We beat the hell out of Miami.
Miami, that's who it was.
Yeah. We wasn't even supposed to be in that game, they said.
Yeah, you're right. I remember that because that was when Miami had their dynasty thing going on, and they were considered one of the teams that were, well, not really unbeatable, but just really, really tall task to beat them. And Alabama, it had been a while since y'all had been pretty good.
Now, also with the 92 we talked earlier, if Alabama would have lost to Florida in the SEC championship game, there were already athletic directors calling for Mike Slide to be fired. They did not want to see an undefeated Alabama having to play a team that had already lost and knock an SEC team out of a championship.
Makes sense.
So that's what I'll leave on. You guys have a great night.
Hey, plug your channel real quick.
Oh yeah, I actually went over 50. I'm at 53 now. Subscribers.
Live shows.
Tide Guy. I will be doing a live show. Thank you everybody for subscribing.
Good job, man.
Job, Jeff.
That's actually, yeah, that's impressive, Jeff. You don't realize, like, you're like less than a week into the game. You have 50 subscribers. That's a really good sign. That's a really good sign.
Yeah, Jeff's got some great analysis. I mean, I every day I look to see. I'm looking for his video. You know,
exactly.
If he has a new one, he's been churning them out. So
he's that type of channel. I agree with that. Now
yeah,
it's your turn. You get the last word besides me.
Well, I was just thinking about that play again. I'm not going to rehash the Seahawks play, but you know, Pete Carroll was 1.5 yards and 1.5 yards, so 3 yards short of winning 3 national championships, three national championships in a row, which has been a long time since. I don't think it's ever been done actually. And then back-to-back Super Bowls. So he would have like 3 national championships and 2 Super Bowls, and he came up 3 yards short. So that's why the game of inches. That's kind of.
I never thought of that, dude. I never thought. I mean, I remember the Titans coming 1.5 yards short from the Rams, but I never thought of the culmination of Pete Carroll of being short a couple more championships. That's crazy.
Yeah, 2 national championships and a Super Bowl is great, but imagine he could say 3 national championships in a row and back-to-back Super Bowls. That would be pretty legendary.
You're in elite status then.
Thanks for having me on.
Appreciate it, Tim. Good job. That was a good last word, by the way. Because for one thing, I didn't really realize that. For another thing, it's a great thing to know. Thanks for bringing that up. Anyways, I had a great time, guys. Let's do a last check. Oh, we did gain 1 more subscriber. So now we are 41 subscribers away from 10,000 subscribers. So we're going to get there. Maybe tomorrow. I think at the latest by Saturday, but I think there's a big chance of getting there tomorrow. Thank you to everybody for watching. Everybody that super chatted, financially supporting the show. We greatly appreciate you. Everybody that hit the like button. Everybody that joined through StreamYard. You guys are what keep this channel going. Listen, there is no show without you. It would just be me talking into a video or a webcam or a phone, and that would be it. But because of you, this is an actual growing channel, and we're about to hit 10,000. So we will do a celebration on Sunday. We're thinking 2, 3 o'clock, somewhere like that. We'll figure out exactly what time, and we will pass it on. So appreciate everybody for supporting the show. And we went head-to-head against a lot of other live shows that have bigger channels. So I think we held our own. Good job, guys. Appreciate all the support. Anyways, don't know what time we're going to do the live show tomorrow because life happens. So if you are a subscriber of Golden Blue Dude, make sure to hit the notifications because I don't know when I'm going to go live next, but it will be tomorrow for sure. And if you're not a Patreon, now's the best time to go check it out and become a Patreon member. All you have to do is Google Gold and Blue Dude Patreon page. You can join for as little as $2 a month. So you don't have to get the bigger packages if you don't want to, and you would still have access to more live shows and discounts on the merchandise. Now, those upper level memberships really come into play whenever you want to vote for the live streams. It gives you more votes, and it gives you more guesses for the score prediction contest. So a $5 Patreon gets 5 guesses per week, whereas a $2 Patreon only gets 2 guesses per week. So that's where the difference is. It does give you an advantage in some of the contests. So go check it out. Patreon page growing at a pretty good rate as well. So go check that out. Anyways, I'm out of here, guys. Thanks for putting up with me, and hopefully you were just a little bit entertained.